So today we're going to dig into one of the most influential commencement speeches ever given. And what's so great about it is, it's not some big, complex formula for success. Nope, it's just 3 stories. Simple, but incredibly profound stories from the life of an innovator who really did change the world. Let's get into the lessons.
I mean, it's a question we all face at some point, right? You know that feeling? You're at a crossroads. You feel totally lost, and the future is just this big blank page. How in the world do you find the confidence to just take that next step? And the answer, maybe surprisingly, isn't some secret formula you can look up on a map. It's actually found by looking backwards at your own experiences, your choices, even your biggest mess-ups, to figure out how to move forward.
All right, so story number 1. It kicks off with what pretty much anyone would call a huge failure, dropping out of college after only 6 months. But what seemed like a dead end, well, it was actually just the first dot in a much, much bigger picture.
See, dropping out meant he didn't have to take all the required classes anymore. It let his curiosity just run wild. So he wanders into a calligraphy class. Just for fun. No practical goal in mind, he just thought it looked interesting. Totally useless, right? Well, fast forward 10 years, and that useless knowledge? It became the very soul of the first Macintosh. Yep, the first computer ever with beautiful fonts.
And that's the whole point right there. You have to trust your gut, your intuition, that little voice telling you what's interesting. You gotta follow the things that fascinate you, even if they seem to lead you off the beaten path. Because when you look back, you'll see how all those random, disconnected dots, they actually created the exact path you were meant to be on all along.
Okay, so if the first story is all about trusting the journey, the second one, well, this one's about what happens when that journey takes a nosedive. It's a story about love, loss, and a moment of just absolute public humiliation.
I mean, how does that even happen? How do you get fired from the company you started? He co-founded Apple in his parents' garage, built it into this massive thing, and then, after a power struggle with the board, he's out. Just like that. He was 30 years old, and the thing he'd poured his entire adult life into was just gone.
And we're not talking about some little startup here. At that point, Apple was a $2 billion company. It had over 4,000 employees. He was this huge, very public failure. He honestly thought about just leaving Silicon Valley for good.
But then, slowly, something started to change. He realized he still loved the work. So, what did he do? He started over. And this actually kicked off one of the most creative times in his entire life. He founded 2 new companies, Next and Pixar. And then, in this crazy twist of fate, Apple ended up buying Next, which brought him right back to the company he started in the first place.
And here's the key insight. That massive, devastating failure, it was actually a gift in disguise. It freed him from the pressure, the heaviness of being successful. It let him be a beginner again. And that's when he became super creative, in a way he couldn't have been before. You know, like you said, sometimes life is going to hit you in the head with a brick.
So, what's the big lesson from that whole mess? It's this. The only thing that's going to pull you through the really tough times, through the failures, is if you truly love what you do. So, if you haven't found that thing yet, keep looking. Seriously, don't settle.
All right, on to the third and final story. And this one is by far the most personal. It's about death, and how remembering that your time here is finite can be the single most powerful tool for actually living a meaningful life.
So when he was 17, he read a quote that stuck with him. And for the next 33 years, every single morning, he'd look in the mirror and ask himself this exact question. And his rule was super simple. If the answer was no for too many days in a row, he knew he had to change something. Big time.
Well, that whole idea became terrifyingly real when he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. The first prognosis? It was bad. The doctors told him it was incurable and that he had maybe 3 to 6 months left. They basically told him to go home and get his affairs in order, which, as he put it, is just doctor speak for prepare to die.
You know, when you're forced to face your own mortality, everything becomes crystal clear. It's this brutal, clarifying moment. All the external stuff, what other people expect, your pride, your fear of messing up, it all just falls away. It vanishes, and all that's left is what's truly important. Like he said, you're already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. This whole experience completely changed how he saw death. He stopped seeing it as this scary end and started seeing it as life's single best invention. Think about it. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old stuff to make room for the new. It's this powerful reminder that your time is short, so don't waste it living someone else's life. So, these 3 stories, they all lead up to this one final piece of advice. It's a simple little phrase that he wished for everyone. And it came from a pretty unexpected place.
It actually comes from the back cover of the very last issue of this publication called The Whole Earth Catalog. This thing came out in the late 60s, and it was basically the Bible for his generation. It was super idealistic, full of all these cool tools and great ideas. People called it Google in paperback form, like 35 years before Google even existed.
So, on the back of that final issue, there was a picture of an early morning country road, and underneath it were just 4 words: stay hungry, stay foolish. That was their farewell message. Stay hungry, meaning never be satisfied, always keep learning. Stay foolish, be willing to try the things that everyone else thinks are crazy. It's really a wish for a life filled with curiosity and courage. And it kind of leaves us with one last thought, right? What seemingly random dots are you collecting today, and where do you think they might lead?